Hello and welcome to Global Mike. Global Mike is a podcast that is a hotspot of stories from journalists, filmmakers, storytellers, and travelers. Today, we have a traveler who has agreed to talk to us unfiltered, and his name is Reuben Mbuve. My name is Duku Karaoke. I'm the podcast host. So Reuben is a youth advocate and a community mobilizer, passionate about young people, shaping their futures, you say? And then he has worked across Africa from grassroots movements to policy spaces, seeing development from all angles. Beyond advocacy, he is a proud father and a partner who believes leadership starts at home. Reuben, leadership starts at home. So you can briefly introduce yourself again, because I don't know whether you acquired a new title this morning. And then you tell us what it means to say leadership starts at home.
I think you have introduced exactly what I would say.
Yeah.
If I'm talking about myself. Yeah, I'm a development professional, and in particular in the youth space that is empowering young people. I work with young people most of the time.
Yeah.
I'm also an advocate. I work with communities to streamline most of the structures in the community spaces. And also, just as you have said, yes, I'm a proud father. And I always believe leadership starts at home.
Leadership starts at home.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
I know most of the time we talk about leadership in different spaces. We have talked about leadership from boardrooms all the way to the level of community level. But sometimes we forget about leadership at our own households, at our own homes, and also what we call individual leadership. So that's why I normally say leadership starts at home. So you have to be, first of all, your own leader. You have to be the leader of the people that are at your home. So when I say I'm a proud father, I'm also a leader to my daughters, as well as a leader to my partner. So I have to believe that leadership starts, first of all, as an individual at my household level, before I actually talk about the community, because before I talk about the organization. So that's why I normally say leadership starts at home.
Because I want to give you, a majority of the time that you're going to be here to tell us about a lot of things that you've been doing around, and a lot of impacts that you've done in the few years, or the many years I've known you.
Yes.
I want to start by provoking you, because I met Reuben at YALI, Young African Leaders Initiative, a place that I adore until today, because I met number of people who I can still remember. 8 years ago. Wow, interesting. And we still do a few things that are for development, for the growth of this nation.
Yes.
So, you can just do a small description, because I met you at YALI.
Yes.
I met very many people at YALI. I think you were over 110 people. Many crazy people, including you. And it was a nice place.
Yes.
So you can tell us, what was your experience at YALI? And how did we become friends at YALI? Because I still don't believe that you're my friend, by the way.
Well, now that you have provoked me, YALI has been one of the areas that I normally say it turned around like 360 in my life. But before I actually explain that, I want to say, yes, when I met you, I never thought actually you are going to be my friend. And I never thought that you would become what you are today. The kind of a crazy person that you were.
You never thought you'd be recording this podcast.
Exactly, today, 8 years later. I mean, and not just me and you, but so many people that we were in YALI. So many of them, you looked at them and you were saying, this person, I don't know, where are they going? But today, now we know. Because then, it was not really visible. It wasn't apparent what was going to happen to us, what we were going to become. But something was very consistent with the people that we met in YALI, including myself and you. The consistency of doing what we believe in. Most of the people that we met, I remember when I met you, you were still recording things, you were still behind the lens, you were still believing in, features, writing stories.
And a Twitterati, that's they used to call it Twitter. Now it's X.
Exactly.
I don't know why they called it X.
You were really active in the social media space, unlike most of us. And you have been so consistent, and here you are today. Today you are producing for BBC, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is exactly what you was even when you were at YALI. Now coming to myself, When I joined Yali, actually, I was not so like clear what I wanted to do.
Yeah. You
With
had
myself.
just come from Mombasa from becoming an MCA.
Oh yes, don't even remind me
Yeah.
that.
Okay, just talk about
Story
Yali
for
first.
another day.
Yeah,
Story
please.
for another day.
Yeah.
Yes, I had come from politics,
Yeah.
active politics.
Yeah.
Don't even ask what happened in 2017. many people,
Yeah.
many people don't know it. So let's
Yeah.
not even talk
Let's
about
cover
that.
it.
Yes, another show.
We'll
for
still
that.
do another one.
Yes. So I had come to Yali. I had resigned actually from a private organization, and then I had left everything that I was doing in Mombasa. I had a huge following, but on the political space. But when I came to Yali, my mind was somehow working with communities, but I was not clear what exactly I wanted to be. And through Yali actually is now when I started seeing some kind of vision of what I wanted to be. And I think that is where I started seeing also the what we call leadership values that I wanted to have or that I wanted to work on myself on. And from Yali is now when I started focusing towards something. There before, I think I was a little bit scattered.
Yeah.
I was around. I was
All
touching
over.
everything.
Yeah.
Trying to be a leader everywhere, you know. And then after Yali, I think I went a 360 kind of a circle, and I said, okay, I believe working with communities for me is what I want. And that is now when I started actually looking for jobs, looking with NGOs. I had not worked with an NGO before.
Wow.
In
I
my
thought
life.
you were always working with NGOs.
No.
Wow. So,
No.
because let me pick something that
Yeah.
I remember until today. Because you remember when we were at Yali, you used to do, like those community activities.
Yes.
And I remember there's one time that we went to Kibera, they call it. And
the school painting.
Exactly. I want to say this
yeah.
because I want to praise you a bit. I don't know whether it's necessary, but I think it comes with the state.
Bring it on.
Yeah. So because I've not from the time we met at Yali, I never saw someone else who changed jobs as much as you did and still became consistent. So maybe Yali helped you the most. Maybe
Yes.
you're supposed now to pay for what you got from Yali. But that consistency of like coming from this place, doing something, moving to the next one, doing something, moving to the next one, doing something. And I really like that. As in, it shows like, I know with a lot of hidden sufferings, with a lot of hidden, challenges and all that. But for me, it shows someone who can always survive, which is actually a spirit I really admire, I really like. But I wanted you to tell us about, because I saw you moving around, doing a number of activities when you were doing the painting in Kibera, and I was like, okay, I know I was also doing some stuff.
Yeah.
But
I remember I actually have some photos.
Some photos, from
for
that.
that event.
Yeah.
It was a school painting and also school feeding kind of a program. And I had done some kind of community activities before. But this one was special in a way because when we got there, one thing that I noticed is it was like youth-led because it was us, young people who were leading.
Sure.
We were not being directed from a high power. There was no power dynamics kind of play. And that, I think, brought out something in me. I realized, I've always been following instructions. I've always been taking orders from above. And I was like, okay, so we can do this on our own.
Without
as
any
young
supervision,
people, without actually supervision, without actually being directed. And when we were working with children, for me, I love children a lot. I know many people know that. I love children a lot. And in that day, we were working with children. And I remember, even in most of my photos that day, I am in between children. I am feeding them. I am having stories with them. And even today, I can't believe.
I don't think you painted though, because I think you used it as an excuse.
I even have photos. I actually
I think you used it as use the children as an excuse so that you don't paint.
Anyway, people were choosing different activities.
Of course,
I did not have to
chose
do everything.
To
paint. If I painted and spoken
would have been with the children.
What would you have done?
No, of course.
So I had to leave something for you.
Yeah.
And when I look at it, even today, I still work with children. I still work with young people. So for me, I think it was not a start of something that was not there. I think it was more of an ignition of something that was sleeping behind. So it was a passion that was ignited. by Ali. So it is not. It wasn't completely kind of something new coming from me. It was more of an ignition of something that
You
was
got
sleeping.
a chance and a space
Exactly.
to bring out something that was in you.
Exactly.
Not like it was a discovery of like and then inventing
Yeah,
of
and
something.
I think that is the special thing about Yali. It gave us an opportunity to ignite those fires inside us. Because even when we were in those rooms, when we were doing the business discussion, the civic education discussions, everyone, you could see something lighting up in their eyes. So I think that was what happened in Yali.
Yeah, and we will give a shout out to the people that we met at Yali.
Oh, yeah.
I will give you a chance to give a shout out to a few people.
I will.
But there is one thing I want now us to talk about deeply before we come to your traveling and what you've been doing, traveling around Africa and helping uplift different people in your leadership journey.
Yeah.
You are okay not to talk about when he stood for an MCA by the end. He failed
Story
terribly.
for another day.
But in your leadership
I got
journey,
many votes.
yeah. But you still didn't get the votes to get you to the assembly. In your leadership journey,
Yes.
what are the dynamics that you have faced or noticed or come across that have shaped who you are and who you will be? Because you're still a young man, man.
Very young.
Yeah, you still have a lot of energy, a lot of to go forward. But what have you seen, faced, and learned from? Yeah.
Over the years and since then, because I have led youth groups, I have led community organizations, I have led what you can call community dialogues, I have led colleagues in different organizations, I have led projects, I have led programs. At the moment, I'm leading a program. So over the years, I can say some of the dynamics that I have experienced about leadership and that have shaped me. One of them, and I think it's my strongest area when it comes to leadership, is communication.
Sure.
Communication is one of the biggest values that you can have in leadership. And I believe it has shaped me over the years because how I communicated 10 years ago or 8 years ago, even when you were at Yali, is different on how I communicate today.
Sure.
I know you still have some videos of some of the recordings that we did then. You can even see the difference between then.
You were
and
stammering
today.
then. I'm joking.
Yeah,
but the articulation is quite different.
Of course.
Yeah.
And sometimes another dynamic that is connected with communication and that I believe I've also grown over the years is confidence.
Yeah.
And confidence does not come alone. It is not a standalone kind of a thing. Confidence comes with knowledge.
Yes. Confidence is displayed by the knowledge you have.
The moment you create knowledge and you know what you are talking about, you are able to articulate it better. So some of these dynamics, I realized that you cannot just have them. You have to learn them. And you have to experience them from other people. From Yali, some of the leaders that I learned from, for example, David Kamau, other bosses that I have had in my different organizations, you realize that how they speak, how they articulate, it comes from what they know. And these are some of the dynamics I set back and said, okay, I want to grow my knowledge. So I've been reading, I've been watching things, I've been, researching.
Sure.
So this is one of the dynamics, I can say it is changes over the years. You have to know what you are talking about for you to be able to articulate it as a leader and for other people to be able to listen to you and not just listen to you, but actually internalize what you are saying, comprehend it, and be able to execute it. So it comes from knowledge, the confidence on how you say it, how clearly you articulate it or communicate it to other people. So for me, those are some of the dynamics I have grown over the years.
You know, Reuben, you are a funny one because you're still the one who went to Tusker Project Fame.
Oh, yeah. And Eric Kasamba, if you are listening to this, if you are watching this, you are the one who convinced and lied to me that we can be musicians, that we can sing. Well, I used to sing. I
in
still
the
sing.
bathroom when you're showering in the morning?
In the bathroom. I mean, it makes you say, okay, I can do it in a bigger stage.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
And the reason why I brought that up is because I want to ask you, because I think for me, I would think that everyone has this moment. Even before you come to your confidence, to spaces whereby you can strongly talk about things, is there a moment that you can remember that you got a chance and you froze and you're like, I don't know what is happening?
Yeah.
Even if it's when you are younger. I know right now it's very difficult for you to do that.
Yes.
Because again of the different things, the different ways you've learned how to, handle different situations.
Yes.
But do you remember a moment whereby you are like, that's not me?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a moment?
You mean like when you are talking and you realize that
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
like,
you?
you were like, I was given a chance and I took it because I believe in myself. Because I know some of us, the type of me and you are like, there's nothing so difficult, I'll do it.
Yeah,
But you get to the mic and you are like, wow, what happened?
Yes.
Even when you are recollecting yourself, you're like, no, that was not me.
Yeah.
Do you have such kind of a moment?
Yes. I think I have had that moment.
Yeah.
It was during when I was actually part of the early alumni.
Yeah.
And I was with Munywa. Munywa is one of the
Yeah.
leaders that I learned
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
That
Sure.
man, take your flowers. My cape for you. I learned a lot from Munywa, Charles. And we had organized a big event at Nairobi University for young people. It was a career and skills kind of a summit. And we brought people together. And then I was the MC and I was going to moderate some of the sessions.
Sure.
But I don't know, for some reason that morning, I don't know, I woke up with the wrong foot or what.
Oh, the wrong side of the bed.
Or the wrong side of the bed. But you see,
Yeah.
in Africa, there is no wrong side of the bed.
Yeah, because again,
sometimes we are in a bed sitter or where you
The only side
always
the only side you move out of bed is
it's
one
side.
Yeah.
So you can never
exactly. There's no
so that
wrong
is
side.
in Africa.
Yeah.
So we don't talk about the wrong side of the bed.
Hiyo
Maybe the
maneno
wrong
si yetu.
foot. So that morning, I remember when we started the event.
Yeah.
I was so confident. I was the one directing everyone else.
Organizing everything.
Yeah. Then I got to the stage and I was trying to introduce the guests, the panelists. And then after the first session, I actually went and spoke to one of my friends. I can't remember. I don't know whether it was Randy or Morgan, but I remember I asked them, who the hell was that?
Exactly. Like,
Who the hell
you
was
see that guy who was there?
Yeah,
That's not me.
That was not me.
Yeah.
Because I know myself. I know how I can do some of these things.
Yeah.
You know, you believe in yourself. And then all of a sudden you're flat-footed. You're like, what is happening?
Yeah, sure.
So I had this moment and I realized sometimes it can be difficult.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you don't have a fallback plan or a plan B, you can mess up the whole thing.
Yeah, okay, I've gone home. I don't know.
And you just walk away.
Yeah.
You just say, okay, let everyone do it.
Take charge of your
Everyone
thing.
on their own. Eh?
Yeah.
So this day I actually
that's what I wanted to ask you, because we always learn from our past mistakes.
Yes.
And it's only that you cannot say that you love your mistakes because that back then you messed.
Yes.
But when you learn from the mistakes, what do you do different so that at least you don't get blank moments even when you are in front of people and you are the one who everyone is depending on?
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing that I've realized is you should always have what you call best standards for your own and best practices. And then any moment that you have done a mistake or something is about to happen or a mistake is about to happen, you need to be able to refer back to the standards that you normally believe in or what you normally do. When you have a list of best practices, then it becomes easier for you to recheck and assess yourself and say, okay, I know this is has happened, but where do I belong? You refer yourself back to your standards. It's always possible. When you do that, then for me, that's normally what I do. And sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you have to ask for support, you know, because you cannot always stand on your own.
Yeah.
You know?
Someone told me something, and I know, I see that is exactly where you're headed. Someone told me that some of us will learn to be vulnerable.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I don't know why he told me that, but we were doing an activity together, and I think the person noticed that I was struggling through something.
Yes.
But I didn't want to show that I was struggling through something. I just wanted, like you said, I just wanted to manage everything.
Yes.
So how do you become vulnerable, and how do you manage your vulnerability?
Well, and I think this goes to all men, not just you and me. Men, sometimes we don't accept.
We want to be in charge of everything.
Hot soap. something is happening, so
I'm in
big
charge.
for us to handle. But we want to show that we are the rock, we can handle this. We have the muscle, we are built, we are hammer.
Until when you
know.
you're like,
But you have to be vulnerable. And I have actually written these a lot about men, vulnerabilities, and how actually to do that.
Yeah.
So how do you be vulnerable as a man? The first thing is knowing your limits and your boundaries. If you understand your limits, then you can always understand when you need help.
Yeah.
But if you don't understand your limits, you'll always believe you can do it, and sometimes you cannot. Let's agree. Let's all say that sometimes there are some things that are so big for ourselves, for our own as individuals. Sometimes we need help. And once you know your limits and your boundary, then you will be able to know
when you really
to
need
ask
the help.
for help. That is when. But the most important thing is knowing how to ask for the help.
I think that,
it's very difficult.
I agree with you. That is the most important thing.
The how, because it's very difficult. It's not easy to ask for help. So to be vulnerable, the how, here is how you have created your bonding, your relationship with other people. Because if I am close with you and I know your vulnerabilities, you know my vulnerabilities, it becomes easier for me to find a way to ask for help.
Yeah, sure.
Even some men cannot even ask for money from fellow men.
So it's like, man,
how? Like you get your phone and you don't know even how
you
to
type a message and then you
delete
it.
You delete. You try to call. You say, okay, how am I going to even approach this man?
Okay.
So the how is always very difficult.
Sure.
But how you handle that is create that bond with your fellow friends. And a social bonding circle that gives you it easier, makes it easier for you. And the biggest, before you go to the next question, the biggest part again is understanding who. Who to ask help. Because sometimes from our experiences, we have been judged before when you asked for help.
Yeah, it's like, man.
And the moment you got judged,
you're like,
you coil back. And you never ask for help again. So you never become vulnerable again. So it is important to know who to be vulnerable with and when and how to be vulnerable with them. So those very important things.
Who, when.
Exactly.
Comes along. Yes. So another question, because now in the space that you are in, you are charged with the responsibility of even managing time. There is one thing that I've noticed because I attend a lot of events and you meet people.
Yes.
And time management becomes one of the biggest quagmire. So because either you are late, either you are early, either someone spoke for 2 hours.
Yes.
So for you, because I've attended events that you're speaking and you are measured, you give what is needed. How is it that you read the people you're speaking to, you make sure that whatever you have prepared is passed to the people you're speaking to, and you manage time in such a way that you are not going to have us running on the ground sleeping? Yeah.
I think that will take me back to leadership and communication dynamics, because if you have something to say, then you have to know how you are going to say it before. It doesn't just happen. So in a way that unless it finds you impromptu, then sometimes which can happen.
Sure.
But before you actually go to a stage, maybe you are a speaker, you are a panelist, you are a moderator, you are an MC, then you already have your content. You already know.
You have prepared.
Like when you are coming here, you already knew what you want us to talk about.
Sure.
Preparation. Very important. And then understanding your audience. If you don't understand your audience, sometimes you might find yourself going and going and going. So you need to be able to understand whether they have already understood what you are trying to talk. If you say you have a content, but the audience might not be understanding the content, you might find yourself either speaking too much or speaking,
to justify.
You just pass through what you are trying to say and nobody understands you. So preparation is important, and also understanding your audience, and finally the articulative part is very key.
So I have seen you travel Africa trot. Travel around Africa. And doing some brilliant things, because the reason why, by the way, the reason why I decided to bring you in for this podcast, mostly you've been interviewing fellow journalists, filmmakers, storytellers. But I see you also as a storyteller, because when I look at your traveling journey, I follow you. And I see that you're going to places whereby you are amplifying people's voices, you're lifting
Yes.
people, like you're saying, and you tell the stories because now they are the mediums of telling the stories. It's
Yes.
not 1992 anymore,
Exactly.
whereby you had to go to a certain TV or radio station or a newspaper to publish your stories. And I really love because you tell your stories in such a way that I'm able to follow,
Yes.
I'm able to see the impact, and I'm able to talk about that story to someone else. You see, so I want you to give us a brief journey of what you have managed to do so far, where you have managed to travel,
Yes.
and then pick one very bad incident that
Yes.
happened and one very positive incident that happened. But start by telling us where you've gone, the experiences, and
Yes.
what you've been doing.
Well, what I do today, honestly, sometimes I look back and ask myself, is this me?
Yeah.
Because even though I always knew I'd do something big,
Yeah.
sometimes I ask God, did we say this big?
Yeah. As
no?
in,
Because sometimes I feel like it's too big. But I know, it's meant for me.
yeah.
And I think this comes from my imposter syndrome. Sometimes we do have that.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome where you feel, okay, is this me? You
Yeah.
look around and
Yeah,
okay,
then you're like, yeah.
So for this job, I've been traveling around across Africa and the Asian region.
Yeah.
Because the work that I do at the moment is looking at young people from different diverse contexts in the
Yeah.
African region, the Asian region, and how we can learn from them and be able to design programs that are meant for them, with them.
Yeah,
Not just for them,
Not
but also
pushing
with
things
them.
to
Yes,
them, but
exactly.
understanding what they need and how you can work
Yes.
together.
So my work is more of understanding this context from them, from young people, speaking with them, being with them in these communities. For example, for the last, I think, 1 year, I've been now to 11 countries across Africa and Asia.
Yeah.
And working with these young people is us understanding the kind of challenges that they undergo every single day. The dynamics are very different for different contexts, different countries, different communities. But for us to be able to understand how to tailor make
The solutions
the interventions
the
with them and also be able to work with them in these communities, it needs you to be able to go there. So I've been going there. I've been sitting with the young people. I've been talking to them. I've been capturing their suggestions, their recommendations. And then we are designing with them the interventions that work for them. So each country is a little bit very specific. It's very different from other countries. One thing that has remained very consistent, and this is something that is so funny, but I love it. That has remained consistent in all these countries, the 11 countries that have been, for example, for the last 1 year, is the African region, the young people in the African region. They are very, very visionary and very confident that they can do things on their own. What they need is to be shown the direction. It's like the ignition that I was talking about. You ignite their fires, and then they can do it on their own. So they are not looking for a savior. They just want somebody to show them and push them a bit, ignite them, and then let them run their things. And I always believe that young people are the center of their own development. So something that has happened that was really funny. I was in Sierra Leone, and this is one of the countries that they use a lot of pepper. They actually call it pepe. Pepe. And it's so hot. If you're not careful, that you will actually cry. And that is what happened. And I was not aware about it. And then I was with my colleagues, and it's like they were targeting and waiting for me, because the colleagues that they are born there, they have been brought up there.
They know the whole process. All these, and now there is someone here from...
So we went there and, I ordered for fish. And they actually mixed fish and chicken in one bowl and some cabbage. And for me, I love cabbage. So we were now having dinner, and I started having it. But it was so hot, my friend. And I could feel my tears starting to come out. And because I did not really want to embarrass myself, I did not want to tell anyone how difficult it was. I actually rushed to the bathroom. And when I
You
came
wanted to
back,
cry
I just
alone.
said, okay, can I order something different? But now everything is as hot as this one. So I almost went 2 days actually without eating, just drinking water. Yeah, it was so bad because it was actually even bad for my stomach. But
Are you serious?
yeah, but now I imagine now today I can eat it.
You can
know?
eat the whole
Yeah,
of-
it's all about the experience.
Yeah.
And then something that happened that was really exciting for me. I went to Rwanda.
Yeah. Nice country.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I was with these young people in the community, a place called Nyanza, actually, like our Kenyan Nyanza. And I was in what we call a club space for young people.
Yeah.
And then they started somehow talking
Little ones, like
in
them?
small groups.
Okay.
They started discussing something in their local language that I did not understand what they were trying to do. So it happened that they were discussing how they are going to act a simple drama. Like for me,
Okay.
like I'm a visitor.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they were trying to do something for me,
you,
something
yeah.
special. I actually have the videos and the photos.
Interesting.
And they acted so, I was like, oh my God, you did this for me?
Yeah.
So for me, that was really exciting. It's one of the experiences that I found so good, so welcoming in a different country, in a different community.
Yeah.
But for me, it was one of the best experiences that I have had in this context.
It's a humbling moment, and I agree with you when people are like really set to do something to surprise you, to welcome you, to give you a moment of your time.
Exactly.
And then after that, you are like, sometimes these are the questions that come your way when you are in your maybe even in your room.
Yeah.
After the whole space is over, and you are like, wow, why is this happening?
Yes.
Crossover to, you went to Indonesia, yeah? Is it Indonesia?
No, Philippines.
Oh, you went to Philippines.
Yes.
I love traveling.
Yes.
So I always love getting the experiences from traveling. Yeah. So how was the experience? And considering that you've spent the majority of your time here at home,
yes,
how was that experience? Or here in Africa?
One thing about these different contexts and the experiences, they make you realize that even what we are talking about here, leadership, is different in different contexts. For example, here in Kenya, we are so assertive. Yes, when we say, okay, we are going to do this, the moment you are raising your hand, people are already doing it, you know. So people are very fast here in Kenya. But in countries like Tanzania, Ethiopia, they still want what you call dialogue, consensus. They have to agree as a team. When you go now to Philippines, for example, they are a little bit calm. Yeah. They are a little bit drawn back. They are the kind of people that they will wait for you to be able to show them what to do.
Okay, like
it's just like our jirani here in Tanzania. When you go there, they are calm. You know, our coastal people. They say.
When they come to Nairobi, some of my friends from Tanzania ask me like,
they struggle.
Where are you people running to?
Exactly.
Like, come on, guys, cool down. Take your time.
Kenyan life is so fast. And where are we always going?
I don't know. Sometimes it is so fast, it's chaotic.
Then you are rushing, and then you go home, you have nothing to do.
Exactly.
Or you are coming
Stick around. Manage your time.
Yeah. So when you go to somewhere like Philippines, for example, they are a little bit calm. They are more consensus-based kind of leadership. And also in their own communities, one thing that is special about them, they have what they call, I don't know in the English term, but in the language that they use, it's called kudik.
Okay.
Kudik, K-U-D-K.
Okay.
Kudik. That's how you pronounce it. And what it means is it's like Ubuntu. In other words, yes. They have that. And even when you, from the city all the way to the communities, you can feel there's something different about them that we don't have here. Because even if you have a small kind of an issue on the road, everyone will want to understand and actually help you, not take advantage of you. You can see the difference. I know you're already thinking about the
Yeah,
Kenyan context.
I'm like, okay,
So that is
not
one
very
thing
bad.
special about them. The other thing about them is their food.
Okay.
They take their food with so much cultural and historical kind of, the way they cook it, the way they prepare it, the way they heat
whole
it.
process.
Yeah, it is like something that is religious. It is not just like,
Si
okay,
kama
bring
wewe
food,
boga,
leta chakula.
Acha nione news.
It has to be prepared in a special way. And they have special meals for different days. It's like our chapati, how it used to be for Christmas only. So they have these special foods for different days. But for me, it's the way they prepare it. And when you are eating it, the way they explain about a meal, it is something so religious. Like you get attached to that food.
Wow. And when you're traveling, I have some experiences traveling around, including traveling inside Kenya. So have you had hardships whereby you get to a place, you didn't check your plane time so well. You get to a place, it's not the time that you really thought was, so your meal program is disturbed. You are, like the first day of your trip is confused. Do you have such kind of experiences?
A very big one.
Yeah.
I went to Liberia this time and I left my yellow fever.
Oh my goodness.
At home. So when I was leaving, I did not realize I did not have it. So when I got there, you can't just enter at the airport without the yellow fever card. But you see, yellow fever is just a paper.
Yeah.
Whatever
is done in your body. It's the paper you carry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, why do I have to show a paper for me to just go through to a country? So I was with my colleagues.
And maybe you bought that paper
I did not have it.
Oh, you bought it, even the one that you should.
Yeah. So I was with my colleagues and I told them, okay, I can't pass here. They told me, these guys, the officials, they told me, no, you can't go in. So I told them, okay, I am vaccinated.
It's only that I forgot my
It's only
card.
that I forgot the paper.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is I am vaccinated. But now they were looking at me trying to see.
Where is your mark?
But myself, I did not even know I am the mark. So we were all looking
all of
at
you
it.
are searching for the mark.
And I was telling them, okay, I'm not sure where the mark is. It is somewhere. So they finally found it and they could tell, oh yeah, this is for yellow fever.
Yeah.
And so they told me, okay, next time do not forget about it. But it was chaotic because almost an hour stuck at the airport. The other time, I was supposed to go to Sierra Leone and the flight was redirected to Addis Ababa. I stayed in Addis Ababa for 11 hours. The airport, I could not leave the airport. So I was stuck in the airport. So just because Kenya Airways decided to redirect their flight. So you can imagine 11 hours.
Yeah, that is also a very bad moment.
Yeah.
Because it also disturbs your communication with the people you're meeting, the people who you left home.
Your gadgets are off sometimes. Internet is an issue to access. So sometimes it can be pressurizing. So you just have to understand how you are to settle your emotions.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you might find yourself
boiling,
beating these guys. The Kenyan kind of style.
The gangster style. So because we are almost coming to the end of this one, I want you to tell me, because now you spent a good number of years in your life.
Yes.
Doing the job that you do, you have to meet people.
Yes.
Some people are good. Some people are bad.
Yeah.
Some people are brothers and sisters of the devil. Yes. So tell me, okay, don't mention names.
Yes.
But especially through your active part of life, when you are going around trying to help communities, because that is a job that you do. Yes. What kind of people have you met in the bad side? Okay, in the good side. Let's start in the good side, on the good side. And then in the bad side. And then how many brothers and sisters of the devil do you meet in the line of duty?
Yeah. Well, I have to say, without any order, the best kind of people that I have met, and this is across different regions, different communities, different countries, is people who have what I call empathy. And most of them, actually, I have found them to be deep in the communities. Sometimes this is a little bit weird. You might expect that people understand empathy all the way from top boardrooms organization, no? But in the communities, I've found that these people, they have a kind of empathy that you don't see it in most of the other people. And these are people who are born in these communities. They have been brought, they have gone to school there, they have been brought up there. They just circle their lives around that. But they are the most empathetic people. They put themselves in your shoes or in the shoes of even the other community members. And they are so understanding. So for me, the community-based people have been one of the best people that I've met. The other people that I've met, for me, is people who are out to change the African context or to develop Africa. And this is including the early friends that we met 8 years ago. This is somebody who has a burning passion to see change, to create change. These kind of people are special. Me, you, and our early fellows. I have to say, we are all special because we have something that is burning for us to see change. And they have always impacted me on a positive way because they always bring out the best for me. So these are the second one that I always say they are the best. The other people that I've met that are the most beautiful are little children. Including my own daughters. Because they are so innocent and they are so genuine. They're naive. They don't know about what is happening in this world. This world sometimes is so evil. And if only we could switch, sometimes I wish I could just switch off to be just like a child. It is so beautiful. So for me, again, I look at my children and I always say, okay, you might not know what is happening out here, but you're the most beautiful thing. So when I come to the other side, I will start with politicians. These are the worst kind of people that I have worked with, I have interacted with, I have worked for. And, I have taken orders from.
And you're like...
one thing about a politician, there are some who are good, yes. But one thing about politician, when you become a politician, because I almost got there, and you could feel it. You become heartless. And most politicians, is not their wish. It is their working environment. They become heartless. And these are one of the worst people that you can ever engage in. So what I normally tell people, it's bad to engage with politicians or to work with them. But just be careful you don't lose your soul.
Exactly, because
working
of that.
For them.
Because it's something, and thank you for raising that. We were having a discussion with a few people the other day, and we were like, is it that politicians go to a special school immediately after getting into politics? Because people change. I've seen people that maybe you thought are good people.
Yes.
And then after politics.
I'll tell you for sure, when you look at environment does shape characters, it does shape personalities, it does shape humanity. Even the people that have been brought up in the informal sector, in Madara, in Kibera, they are not the same with a person who has been brought up in Karen, for example. It's because the environment that they were born in and brought up in shaped them. It hardened them. It traumatized them. So today they are not exactly what they needed to be. They wanted to be. They are different kind of a person based on the environment. It's the same when it comes to a politician. It's about the environment they are in. So it turns them around. It twists them. It rounds them up. It wraps them up. They become heartless. So sometimes I look at the environment and I blame the environment or whoever created the system, that kind of culture. And not really the individuals.
So looking at life going forward, and especially yourself, and in the space that you are in, what other achievements do you want to make? Because like you said, you're just you just starting. Looking at your energy, looking at even your age. I know you are my age mate, so you can say whatever you want to say.
I know.
Exactly, trouble in this because you see now there's always a part of a person, and if you want to become a politician in future, I will not accuse you of anything. But again, there is that personal satisfaction that you want to give yourself, even if life changes later in the years. What is it that you have a very big urge to achieve, especially in the space that you are working in right now?
Yeah. Well, um, one thing that I want to say is I'm turning 40 years this month, in the next 3 weeks. Welcome. I know you're already there.
No, I'm turning 40 next week.
Oh, it's next week. Yeah, we are on the same month.
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
I knew it.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
I was actually in doubt. But now, I confirm.
I think we talked about it sometime.
We're on the same month.
Yeah.
So mine is 3 weeks from today.
Yeah.
So I'm turning 40 years. And I'm just starting my life.
Exactly.
I'm just starting to be what I've always wanted to be. So I have a huge future sitting in front of me.
Yeah.
And some of the things that I want to be, I know before 2017, I did not know better.
Yeah.
And yes, I thought that being an elected leader
is the only way
is
that you
one
can
of the
impact
biggest
communities.
things. Yes. But again, today when I look at it, I really don't want to be a politician, but I want to be a leader.
Yeah.
I want to lead in different functions. Today, I am leading in a different function, but even in future, I want to be a leader in a different function.
Yeah.
I see myself in bigger institutions, for example, the UN, the World Bank, and such kind of institutions. And some of these institutions, for example, the AU, where Baba was trying to get, that is an elective position. And for me, I'm looking at those kind of positions where I don't have to go back to the community and ask for votes for these smaller, I call them smaller positions. I want to really create a bigger kind of a vision for those bigger institutions, for example, the AU and all that. But you might find there's still voting there, there's still election, there's still campaign, but at the end of the day, it is much better than what I experienced and what happens right here. Yeah.
So I will give you a chance, because we are winding up now, to just say hi to Yearly Cohort 21 and anyone else that you want to say to. Because you're going to come back here, and I don't want Reuben to talk about it, but he's going to launch a book that we are all going to read, but there is a podcast for that. But for now, because you have a huge network, I believe you me, and I hope you have been trying to meet the people who, although that was not our cohort. Our cohort was the East African one. Every other East African country that I go to, I have met Ayali Meba. Sometimes we went into conferences, and sometimes you're given a chance. Sometimes maybe there is a fallback time, and you're given a chance to tell us which leadership whatever have you attended, because some of the conferences we attend, and you agree with me, are leadership conferences, and guys are eager to know which other leadership groupings do you belong to, which other conferences or which other fellowships have you attended. So I've gone to places, including film festivals, including business meetings, and hardly do you miss Ayali alumni. So
Ayali
that I love that stuff. And whenever I went to a place and I needed some help, the first thing to ask was whether is there someone from Ayali here, like you are an alumni and all that. So it's something that it's good, because again, it gave, for me personally, it gave me a network, especially because of my work, because I'm a journalist. So sometimes you're looking for people to give you, some people to be sources of information, and you easily get them. So I want you to take 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Just big up some people, especially the guys that we met at Yearly Cohort 21 in 2018 at Kenyatta University. Cohort. Big up to them. And then anyone else that you want to, before you come back here in a month's time.
Yeah. Very true. I think Yali is one of the biggest things that can happen to someone's life. And I'm saying so is because the kind of social network that we create, or that we created through Yali, is one of the biggest. Just as you are saying, wherever you go, you always find someone who was in Yali. And Yali as the bigger, including Mandela and all that. So for Cohort 21, you people, since 8 years ago when we met,
that's awesome.
It looks like a year or even 2, but it is 8 years, you can imagine. But I believe each and every one of you is doing something special in wherever you are. But one thing that has remained consistent for me, and I hope it has remained for you, is I learned how to work with others. I learned how to ask for help. And I believe we are building a network, even where we are, and not just the early network. We are building more networks. You need to know one thing. This guy, when we met 8 years ago, he was not my friend.
Yeah, you are not my friend as well.
He used to steal my food.
No. Actually, talk about that thing. Now, even if you had finished, this guy used to eat a lot
With
of
the
whole
owner.
cow.
With the owner.
From Uganda, yeah?
And
Bwana.
president.
You guys.
Clifford, eh?
Hey, Clifford. Where's Clifford?
No, you people used to eat the whole cow. Like it is
Yeah.
lunchtime.
No. You cannot behave like
Other
that.
people are on the line.
Yeah, you're like, I'm
And then you
boss,
serve a
tumalizia nyama bwana. But
It was so fun. I
Yeah.
miss everyone that we were with in Court 21.
Yeah.
And I believe we are going to meet in one way or another, just as Thukwa said, in different summits, in different functions, in different pathways. We are going to meet. And when we meet, I believe we are going to recreate these memories. This has just been so fun talking about Yali. It's just wonderful.
Awesome. So, Reuben, thank you so very much. And from me, continue doing the good work that you're doing. When I see you traveling around, and especially when I see you working with rural communities, it really makes me feel good because, as in, I think it is the only way that you can empower communities.
Yes.
So, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for the good information that you have and the good stories that you've given to our audience.
Thank you.
And all the best in your book launch. We are going to talk about it the next time. And thank you so very much, our viewers.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. This is the Global Mic. We are going to request you to touch that subscribe button. It's for free. See you next time.